Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another bi-weekly Dragon Ball figure news video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of ground to cover today, but before I get into it, I do just want to say I apologize that this video is coming out a little bit late in the day and a little bit late in the week. Usually the latest that I post these videos is on Tuesday, but this week is a little bit of been shenanigans for your boy. So we are currently posting this video up on a Wednesday, which is kind of good because actually waiting a little bit gave us a bit of additional figure news we wouldn't have been able to include in this video. So I am very excited to get into what we have to talk about today. We have a lot of updates. We have a lot of new figures to talk about. So let's get into it. And before we do, we are leaving off on July 7th was the last figure news video that was a bi-weekly one. That one being, of course, the announcement of the official Dragon Ball Daima Kuji. And then, if you did not see, we got SH Figure Arts Daima figures announced. And I did a single video on that, obviously just talking about its own thing. We'll, of course, go over it today since this is a recap video. But, obviously, if you want my in-depth thoughts on it, you can go look at it there. Because, obviously, that's an 18-minute video. So, that's 18 minutes and I don't have to put in this video. Maybe, like, 5 of that, maybe. Alright, so, obviously, July 7th is where we left off. However, this was just giving us the updated images for this Ichiban Kuji, which is the one we already saw. This Dragon Ball Weekly News for the 8th basically was just announcing that the Ichiban Kuji came out for the Temple in the Clouds Kuji, which is pretty cool. Obviously, we had the sneak peek of the Daima Kuji, which we already did talk about in the last video. Oh boy, okay. This disgusting freak. Alright, so if you watch, you know, the videos, right? If you watch the figure news videos, you would know that we talk about Dragon Ball Arise quite a bit. Because obviously it's such a funny thing, right? It's figures that are seemingly low quality, right? Even lower quality than like Ichiban Kuji. They're overpriced. They're basically like a hype piece type of thing. Yeah, this is such an interesting figure because I actually have it pulled up here from Baggy. Arise semi-perfect cell confirmed for US MSRP 287. And apparently on Big Bad Toy Store, it is $329. A lot of the time when Big Bad Toy Store raises the price above the MSRP, it's because they have to buy the product and then obviously like resell it to you, so they need to make some kind of profit. So that's why it's usually a lot more expensive. But distributor deadline is only for 1 day, however. I think they realize this is probably niche amongst Western fans, given Western fans stop buying Ichiban show for above 50, yeah. And the thing is, like, this figure doesn't even really look that great, to be honest with you. Like, I know recently we got the, let's take a look, actually, at the semi-perfect cell from the recent Ichiban Kuji. Will semi-perfect cell actually come up here? Semi-perfect. How can you be semi-perfect? Every time I hear semi-perfect cell, it makes me think of that. Oh wait, it actually did come up. Go figure. Well, either way, right? The Ichiban Kuji figure from this recent set, right? Like this one. I know obviously the pose is different, right? Than the, you know, one that we're looking at here because his arms are crossed. But if you're looking for a semi-perfect cell, man, like, this is way better for probably less than like a fourth of the cost. Like, there's no way that people are actually buying this thing. Like, his face doesn't look that good. The proportions feel a little bit off. And am I crazy, or are his legs like slanted? Like, it kind of looks like he's tilting his hips a little bit, like he's doing all the single ladies dance or something like that. Like, what? I don't know, man. It's just a little bit funny to see. There he is, funny enough, next to that figure right there. But if you are interested, I mean, he's there. He exists. I don't really think many people are going to be buying this, especially considering that price tag. But let me know what you think. Anyhow, moving on from that stinky gamer. Hello, YouTube. Sorry, I did not mean to click on that tab again. We move on to the next page. Now, some very exciting stuff here that we have for you. Oh, Gogeta! So, keep in mind, and this is something that I wanted to mention in this video, and I'll probably mention it again at the end of this video, but coming up this week, and actually starting, I believe, tomorrow, the day after this video goes up, which is another reason why I wanted to make sure that I got this video out, is SDCC. And if you have been around for a while, you would know that SDCC and NYCC, aka San Diego Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con, are huge times for figure news. Not just Dragon Ball, just anime figures in general, right? Because obviously it's basically when, like, some of the biggest, nerdiest, you know, geekiest conventions, which we love around here, of course, you know, happen every single year. So we usually get a ton of crazy stuff from SDCC, and I'm expecting no less this year. So I usually do a NYCC and SDCC recap video after the weekend is over, right? Because there's so much information that comes out from those that it practically ends up becoming its own, like, it could basically be the same runtime as one of these bi-weekly recap figure news videos, because there's just usually that much to talk about from SDCC. So expect that video after the weekend is over this coming weekend, for sure. Anyhow, as you can see, right, they have some Dragon Ball Super card game stuff, they have some Daima stuff, they have some Sparking Zero stuff, and if you visit the Dragon Ball booth, you can actually get your hands on this little acrylic stand from Daima and this Daima bag, which is really, really cool. Apparently a Goku headband as well, but I swear they, like, give those out every single year. We did talk about these, by the way, last time, because the Dragon Ball official site, I believe, did have the images for these. So we already took a look at all this stuff, but we actually do have some more images later in this video. Actually, you know what, I guess we could talk about it right now, since we're talking about it at the moment. We have some more images of the Comic-Con exclusive figures for the SDCC exclusives this year. I'm not exactly sure where these images came from, to be honest with you. Maybe they're from some some official Tamashii site. I'm not really sure. But ToyArk is a website that I have known for quite a long time to post images and stuff like this. So obviously it says random photo shoot San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm not really sure, but either way, though, we have images of the boxes and the figures, so let's go ahead and talk about them. Again, at the moment, they have not announced that these are going to be up on Premium Bandai. However, I wouldn't worry too much, because they always say, oh, they're Comic-Con exclusive, and then towards the end of the con, usually like Sunday or the day after, they announce that they're going up for everybody to be able to purchase. So, as you can see, Goku's got a thick box. Holy moly. Goku's box is extra thick. That is crazy. Yeah, obviously these always look super cool, and oh yeah, of course the Godzilla and the Naruto one are also con exclusives as well. But yeah, as you can see, the packaging is always super cool for these convention exclusives. Funny enough, Demoniacal Fit kind of like stole the packaging style, and they use that for like their main style of packaging for the release of their figures, if it looks familiar from that way. Yeah, so this guy right here, this is obviously just a retool of the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. Obviously it's a little bit of different colors and stuff like that, but to be honest with you, it's really just the head and the faces, and then obviously, I mean, he comes with the windy hair. Basically everything here in terms of Goku himself, obviously Gohan is a little bit different. Basically everything in terms of Goku himself is essentially just the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. So if you don't pick up this release, I feel like you're not missing out on too much, unless you're interested in this, which is of course the Nimbus Cloud and the Nuable, the Power Pole. Which is really cool that they included this in this set. Obviously, this is something where it's so weird, right? Because like this basically is turning like a $35 figure into, what was the price tag for this again? This is a $100 figure. Yeah, because they're putting all these accessories in here. It's kind of a weird thing, because it's like, man, the figure is a fantastic figure. I love this guy. but I feel like this package is still not worth like $100. I don't know. Maybe it's just me always being salty about Bandai prices. I know that there's a whole nother character in there and the Nimbus Cloud, but I still feel like it should be more around like the, I don't know. I want to say 60, but maybe that's too low. I'm not sure. You can let me know what you think in the comments. But regardless, it is still a pretty cool package, and it's awesome as well that they have different tails for the Nimbus Cloud, right? Where obviously it's like the curved one and then the straight one where he's, you know, flying really fast. That's awesome. Of course, on the inside, it always says exclusive edition, which is really cool. And again, the figure definitely looks pretty good. Like, no complaints with the figure itself. I mean, again, it's a figure that we've had re-released like a million times. The faces do look really good, though. I don't think there's any complaints from me on how the faces look. They even got the eye catch face, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, yeah, the windswept hairpiece looks really good as well. I'm sure that people are going to be using that windswept hairpiece quite a bit for fighting poses. Gohan himself also looks pretty good. Obviously, he's just a cheeky little guy. He doesn't have too much articulation or nothing like that, but his arms are articulated, and so is his head, so that's cool at least. There is definitely like this, right? You can definitely do some stuff with the articulation. Oh no, my boy fell apart like Legos. That's crazy. Yeah, obviously this is how you take him apart to be able to get the different like cloak. I'm not exactly sure what this piece of clothing is called, but as we saw in the beginning, it came with 2 of those, so you could get a little bit more articulation with the legs, having it like bent basically like this so he can sit. And I guess Goku can hold him? I didn't even really think about that, but yeah, I guess he can. Yeah, this is them kind of trying to create similar, sort of similar to the eye catch. And then this is a comparison of the one that came with Raditz. Obviously, this one was literally just a sculpted, like, statue, basically. It wasn't a posable figure like Gohan is. So it is cool that they gave Gohan a little bit of something. And here is the the Nimbus, rather. Obviously up on the stand, which is cool that you can have the stand change a little bit to get some different angles out of it, right? It is interesting, I will say, that Goku doesn't actually like attach in any way to the Nimbus. You just sit him on there. I am a little bit like worried about that. Like, I feel like if you had like him in an actual like sitting pose, right? Like if you had him like cross-legged, it would be fine. But I feel like this makes me a little worried because if you bump this shelf once, Goku and Gohan, for that matter, are taking a tumble. So I would think if you were going to have this as like a permanent setup on the shelf, you might want to put a little bit of something to keep Goku in, you know, intact there. This was, I know, the figure, though, that I think people were kind of the most interested in seeing how it would turn out in terms of how it would actually look for the final product. Here we have Trunks. Now, this figure has been a bit of a debated one in the community because of the original showing of the face. So, I don't know, man. So, here's the thing for me. Let's look at some more images with the different faceplates. Let's see how the different faceplates look before I say anything. I do like the scarf. I think the scarf looks really good. So, here's the thing. Okay, that face looks decent. He looks so lanky, I think is the problem. There's them trying to recreate the pose from that initial shot. He looks so lanky for some reason. And there he is next to the original one. Am I crazy? Does the original one's face look better? Like, am I crazy to say that? Here's the thing about the pearlescent finish as well. I feel like it just doesn't look that great. Like, it's weird because you would think that the aura that they would want to do for the character would be like the Rage Trunks aura. Yeah, like, you know, because he has the sword, obviously, in Rage Trunks, and obviously his aura is like the blue and yellow layered. But the whole point they did the purple was it's supposed to be like the Gallic Gun energy that's around him, right, when he's doing it with Vegeta. But I feel like it just doesn't work that well. I don't know. It's a little weird. And yeah, like, am I crazy to say that I swear the faces on the original release were better? The thing that I was going to say about this Trunks is that I feel like it's not bad, but the faces feel a lot more like action figure faces rather than like Dragon Ball faces ripped out of the anime. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some SHF faces where you look at it and like obviously your brain understands that you're looking at an action figure, but you look at it and you go like, yeah, that's Goku, right? Like, that's Goku from the anime. Like, even looking at some of the faces from the other one, right? Like, from the Goku release, right? Like, these faces look very anime-esque, right? Like, this one and this one especially, right? Like, some of them obviously look a little bit weird because it's weird seeing, like, 2D come into 3D. But it's clear that, like, these faces are, like, extremely anime-inspired and almost look like they were just ripped right out of the show, right? Where it doesn't look like as much of, like, oh, this isn't an action figure face. This is, like, clearly a Goku face, right? Like, it's just Goku. Whereas with these, right, it really feels like to me that this just looks more like the face of an action figure that, like, it's clear that it's Trunks, but it doesn't really look like Trunks, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the best way to describe it. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Again, this figure also looks so lanky. I feel like he needs a little bit more meat on his bones. Like, I know that the original figure and Trunks in DBS looks a little bit more skinny, but this feels like my bro looking like Slenderman, especially with this angle, bro. I don't know. Let me know what you think of this one. I don't think I'm actually going to pick this one up, to be honest with you. I was thinking about it, but seeing these images, I think I'm going to skip it, because if I could just get my hands on the original release, I think I would honestly just prefer that. But, or maybe if somebody made like a modded 3.0 version of him. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I would be curious to hear what you have to say. Now, this is the figure that I have personally been looking the most forward to. We got the boy Jiren. Warida. So, of course, this Jiren is supposed to look like full power Jiren, when obviously instead of the pants being black, the pants had that tint of red, because of course the whole point is that it's supposed to be like the energy is around him, and that's why his body is a little bit more of that pinkish tone rather than a little bit more of that usual gray tone. He is Jiren the Gray after all. So yeah, here is the figure. I will say it's kind of funny, right, with the neutral face. I feel like it's weird looking at it from some angles, because let's look at it like the difference here, right? Looking at Jiren's face, it looks a little bit strange because it kind of looks like the whites of his eyes. I'm not talking about the little dots in the kind of sea of gray that makes up his eyes. I'm talking about like the white that outlines the black of his eyes, right? It kind of disappears into the paint job and the sculpt a little bit. Looking at it like straight on, like it kind of looks like the whites of the eyes that you're used to surrounding that black color aren't there. But then when you look at it from an angle like this, right, you can see the whites a little bit better there, but they're still like a little bit like they kind of fade in a little bit more, but you can still definitely see the difference between like the black and then the pink, rather than that almost just look like here. It kind of just looks like it's a little bit more pink or just a little bit lighter. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to see the whites of his eyes from some angles like that. However, I feel like the faces that are the more angry faces definitely do more justice for the ironic Jiren injustice. But this face sculpt is fantastic. Like this one, masterpiece right there, baby. This one too, obviously for Jiren getting hit. I always thought that this face was a little bit like too long, like my bro's jaw was too big, but I don't know. I feel like the exaggerated features, excuse me, kind of work for a face like that. This one, not so good, to be honest with you. Like from some angles like this, it looks alright, but this one, actually, from the front way like this, it doesn't look so bad. But again, I think the problem, right? Let's look at this, because this is a good comparison looking at it next to the original one. I think the problem, I'll talk about the faces in a second. Let's look at the comparison. Here's a great comparison, by the way. Again, the color difference in between the pants, right? Between the black and the red. Again, using that pearlescent. It's kind of a funny thing, because I almost think that I still sort of prefer the original like colors for Jiren, because I think it just looks a little bit more like better rather than the pearl finish. But I don't think that this figure is like a bad one, or that it looks really bad. Definitely lighting will be an aspect to this, because here, right, the pearl looks a lot more like washed out compared to like when we saw it in those original production images. It looked a little bit more like shiny. Like here, this is going to be something for later, but let me real quick look at where is Tamashii? Here we go. So if we look at the Tamashii Nations like official page, right? and we scroll back to when they showed off Jiren. Will he be here? Because this is the Goku video. And if we scroll back to when they showed off these figures initially, right, we can see that, of course, again, keep in mind it is a production image, so that is a little bit different. But when we look at it like here, right, the figure looks a lot better with this sort of color scheme because, of course, you know, they're taking it in a little bit more like professional lighting, I guess, and the lighting is obviously tailor-made to look at the figure, where here you can see what it kind of actually looks like, and it looks like maybe in a little bit more of that natural light. Either way, oh wow, this is all of like the pearlescent figures. That is like almost hard to look at. Holy cow. It's kind of weird. I feel like, hello BROLY, I feel like out of all of these, oh yeah, okay, so this is just a little bonus thing. I feel like out of all of these, though, I feel like Jiren almost looks the most dull in terms of the colors, but maybe it's just because he doesn't have clothes that kind of make it a little bit more shiny, because they tend to do a little bit lighter of the pearlescent on the skin. Maybe it would have benefited from making his skin a little bit more shiny, to be honest with you, since there's more skin than there is pants. Either way, though, yeah, I don't think that this is a bad figure by any means, right? Like, I still think that this guy looks pretty good. I think that, again, it's just the whole thing with the eyes for me with Jiren, of like the whites of the eyes kind of disappear a little bit more. This face definitely I do think looks a little bit weird. It also doesn't help, though, that like because Jiren basically just has like pure black eyeballs and like the little bits of white in there, like that's not really supposed to be his iris. It's kind of like supposed to be a little bit of glint on his eyes, or at least that's how I've always understood how Jiren's eyes work. So it's kind of weird because it's like, well, with a shot like this, right, it's kind of like he's looking to the side there, right, which looks strange because it's like, oh well, those little dots that are supposed to be the eye glint kind of make it look like he should have his head cocked the other way because he's like looking at something off to the side. But realistically that's not the case, because the black is just supposed to be his entire eye, so that kind of makes it look a little bit worse, you know, because it just feels a little bit weird looking at it like that, right? Yeah, I think this is still definitely a decent figure, though I may still try and pick up the original one myself, even though this isn't a bad one to grab for sure. I think this will definitely be good for people who do photo shoots and stuff like that, where they want like the full power version of the character. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Ironically enough, I think that Goku is the best out of all of them, but to be honest with you, that's kind of unfair considering it was coming from one of the best figures SHF has ever released. So I don't know if that's really a fair battle. But yeah, let me know what you think, especially about Trunks too. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, obviously those are the figures that we know will be at SDCC in terms of the exclusives and stuff like that. But definitely keep your eyes peeled, because I will be making a full video on everything that actually drops information-wise from the convention. Talking about Dragon Ball weekly news once again, I believe that unfortunately this week really did not have much in terms of figures, unfortunately, but we move on. Ooh, okay, so first of all, just figured I'd throw this in here real quick, because I like to talk about apparel occasionally on this. If you would like a Dragon Ball hat, they're only 20 bucks. On Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know why they're not linked here, but if you go to Big Bad Toy Store, you can definitely find them there, which is pretty cool. Those are some actually pretty decent hats. I kind of like the white one, I'm not going to lie. All right, moving on from that, though. So here's our next thing to talk about. Oh, boy. I love Premium Bandai, baby. Woo! I love Premium Bandai! So, this was something that was announced recently. This is the SH Figuarts Medical Machine. Now, obviously, if you watch Dragon Ball, you know what this is. This is the machine that Goku and Vegeta get put in to be able to be healed up, right, at different points in the Namek Saga. This is an accessory that SH Figuarts collectors have been using for quite some time, because there was a fan-made version of this, that has been out for quite a while now. I don't know why there's multiple pictures of this. I'm assuming the whole reason why is because they're trying to show the light on the inside and the bubbles, because you actually do put water in this thing, which sounds kind of crazy. Makes sense that this would come out right after Vegeta, because obviously this Vegeta figure is when he's looking at Goku in the pod. So I do want to read the info on this before I talk to you about the price. So the old style medical machine used to treat Goku's injury in Dragon Ball Z is now available in SH Figure Arts. Did they just forget that Vegeta gets put in there? The model is large with a length of approximately 135 millimeters that allows you to insert SH Figure Arts Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth, sold separately. I'm sure that you can fit other characters in there as long as they're just about SHF Goku size. We have included as accessories exchangeable head parts usable with the SH Figure Arts Goku, Saiyan raised on Earth, as well as exchangeable facial parts used with the head parts. The movement of the bubbles in the liquid, which caused the memorable burbling of the medical machine, is recreated by a light emitted by 3 LED lights in order to create a relay. Oh, so there's no actual water in it. Okay, interesting. Combine this model with SH Figure Arts, Vegeta, old combat uniform, and Goku Saiyan raised on Earth, and recreate the fun scene. Okay, so I honestly, that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. So 2 parts, right? And then obviously the bonus parts is the 2 pieces for Goku. So here's what's interesting. So you don't actually fill this with water. I guess that makes more sense because I didn't know how this would work with the way that it opens. The only reason why I was thinking that you did was because this actually looks really good with the bubbles. But I guess what this is that it's a little bit of a light that lights up and then makes it look like that there's bubbles actually illuminating on the like glass. I don't know if there's like 2 different settings or if it just happens to get a little brighter, why the light seems to be brighter in some of these pictures. But it is interesting because the fan-made version of this that has been out in the wild for a long time, which I know people have been kind of comparing this to that, uses actual water. Like you put real water in there and then it has like a bubbler that actually bubbles the water up. Now, that is really cool, but you're basically sacking off a figure to be able to use that thing. You're basically sacrificing a figure because it will be sitting in water. And obviously that's not really great for the figure's longevity and health. Not to mention the joints, but also the metal bits inside will probably rust after you have it for a little bit because of course there's screws and whatnot in certain points of the figure. So, I don't know, unfortunately, the original price of that one. I wasn't really able to find that information. If you know it, let me know in the comments section below because I'd love to hear it. But I've heard a lot of people comparing the price of this to that one and people being kind of disappointed with the price of this because of that. However, the only listings I found for that were a lot higher than the price of what this is. But maybe that's just because that thing is old and it's a little bit hard to come by now. So the original price was, you know, obviously a little bit lower. Regardless, though, I mean, I think in terms of sculpt and everything, it looks fine. I do like that the door, like, handle, which is kind of like the little button on the front there to the right of the, like, you know, printed on buttons, looks like it's a part of the piece, even though it's clear that that's what you use to open it up, because when you open it, you can see the mechanism inside. But yeah, it's cool as well that they obviously include, like, a hair piece where Goku looks like his hair is all spiked up, right? You can see right there, and it looks like it's kind of flowing in the water. It looks like there's also 2 different face sculpts. I'll have to reread that information, because this one is like, you know, he's battered up. But then this one, his eyes are like open slightly, and he obviously has a little bit of that fruit punch on him. But this one, his eyes are closed, and you can still see there's a little bit of that battle damage. So, he's looking at Vegeta there. That's funny. Does it say 2? Exchangeable face expression parts. It just says parts, but it looks like there's 2, because this isn't like a face that I've ever seen on another figure. This isn't like the UI Omen face, because there's no fruit punch on that one. I don't know. It looks like there's 2 to me there, unless I'm tripping. But either way, this thing is $95. So keep in mind, that's going to be more like 105, 110 because of the shipping and the taxes and whatnot with Premium Bandai. So, I feel like that's pretty expensive. This thing is obviously going to be pretty big, though, because, of course, it can fit a whole SH Figure Arts figure. Not to mention, it has the technology of the light inside. I still feel like this thing may have been a little bit more on the side of, like, I don't know, 60 to 70, maybe $80. Because this is kind of something that reminds me of, like, when I was a kid and I had action figures that they would sell, like, a big thing for. And, like, I remember, you know what, this is a perfect example. When I was a kid, I like the Justice League Unlimited a lot. And I had like the Watchtower as like this giant toy, right? Like it was like this huge thing that I think you could like take it apart if I remember correctly, but like you could put the figures inside it. And that thing I think was like around $100. Now obviously inflation, and that was a long time ago, and yada yada yada. But like that thing was huge, and that was $100. I feel like big play sets should be like 100 to like $150, but things like this should be more like around the, you know, like 60 if that range, in my opinion. But let me know what you think. This thing is really cool. It's definitely not like a must-have, I don't think. I almost kind of want it for the Goku hair, just because I feel like you could do like a pseudo false Super Saiyan hair with this. Though the hair doesn't exactly look like it's spiked up in the same way. Obviously, it looks like it's a little bit more flowy in that water. But and of course, I guess if you wanted this as a permanent display too, that means that you're also going to have to put your Saiyan Raised on Earth or another Goku in there permanently. And then, right, obviously, that means that whatever display you have it on, you're going to have to take it off to put it inside this thing unless you're buying another one. You could probably use Superhero Goku as well for this, I'd assume. I don't know if the head peg, it probably should. The head will probably fit on that one, so you could get the, you know, like, head onto that body if you really wanted to. But hey, just giving you some ideas. So let me know what you think of this thing. I think it's a little bit too expensive, but it is still definitely a very cool product for it to be out there in the wild. A couple more things before we move on. I know this video is already like a half an hour long. We still have a lot of ground to cover today. So, I think we talked about this in a previous video, but I don't think we had like the official stuff for it yet. Yeah, SH Figures Goku Vegeta reissues. So, they're reissuing Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku again, right? They're reissuing the full power Super Saiyan Goku, which is still kind of funny that they like almost consider this the de facto like Super Saiyan Goku, even though this figure kind of sucks, frankly. Unfortunately, I have it and I'm not really a fan of it. I have it in the Bye Guys Goku pose because it works well for that, and that's the only reason I can tolerate it. Vegeta, which I really like this figure a lot. And the Superhero Goku, which I actually still want to get my hands on this thing. It's funny that two base form Gokus are getting a re-release. Like, what? I guess the only thing, again, is that the Superhero Goku, obviously the faces are a little bit more akin to the superhero style, but I will say the colors are a lot more manga-esque, and like I was just talking about, if you wanted to maybe like put the Saiyan Raised on Earth head on the Superhero Goku, I feel like you could get maybe a little bit more manga-esque colored Goku stuff if you're looking to get some of that on the shelf. But yeah, these figures are apparently coming out in August, and obviously they are all $34.99. This will also probably mean, by the way, that stores will be getting these, so don't be surprised if you see these guys popping up in like Walmart, Target, GameStop, stuff like that around that time. It is kind of funny though, because I will say I still see all of these figures on occasion in those stores, and they like aren't the re-release, so I don't really know why they needed a reissue, because I feel like they're still around, but clearly they must be that popular that they can warrant reissuing them. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, we do get a new trailer for Daima, which was pretty cool. Dragon Ball Weekly News once again. Unfortunately, I don't think that there was too much though that they had in terms of figures themselves. Let's see though real quick. Visitors can enjoy a photo spot, some figure displays, right? Oh yeah, this was at this event that Fuji TV held over the weekend. Oh yeah, so they did actually have this, I forgot, where they had a little bit of an out-of-the-box look at the figures from SDCC. We did take a look at those pictures, so I don't really think that we need to like go too crazy in depth on that. But yeah, you can see here's a good example, at least for the little bit of the machine, right, that you put Goku in. There's a good size comparison between this guy's hands and how Goku looks in there. So that should give you a decent idea. It's so weird because it feels really small in its hands, but it has to be big because I know how the size of the figure is. Kind of weird. Do they show the light up effect? I can't really see it. It looks like it's lit up. Yeah, I think it's basically just bubbles that blink. It's kind of hard to tell in the video, though. That might be something that'll be a little bit easier to see, like, in person, for sure. Yeah, but obviously here you can see Goku out of the box a little bit next to some of these figures. You can see how big this box is compared to this guy's head. But yeah, just a little bit of size comparison for you on some of this stuff. And then you can also get an idea for how big Goku is compared to everything. That Nimbus Cloud is pretty big, though. I will say that thing is definitely a little bit of a chunky lad. All right, so in terms of figure stuff on dbzfigures.com, I believe that is actually everything. So thank you, dbzfigures.com, for always holding it down with the fantastic figure summaries and whatnot. Let me go ahead and click on this so I don't lose it for later. And let's go ahead and hop into what we got for Baggy. So Solid Edgeworks Cell Finals Review and Scales. We did take a look at this guy a lot last week, so I'm not going to go too in-depth this week. However, obviously this figure turned out pretty good. And the other thing that I wanted to show you is this image, because this image goes so hard. I may have to get these boys. I wasn't planning on, like, I don't think I was maybe going to get these because there's some other figures that I have, like, on the top of the list. But this display goes hard. I may have to get these three just to do this display. I think maybe, funny enough, the freeze we're going to talk about later in this video actually may work a little bit better as the front centerpiece for this, because it's a little bit weird that two of them are walking and Kid Buu is not, but this still goes so hard for a little bit of a setup, bro. So sick. So we did have the release of the GX Materia Tien, and I think my boy turned out fantastic. I have no complaints whatsoever on the way that this guy looks. I think that they did an absolutely phenomenal job with the sculpt. Of course, it's the boy Varroque Varquo. Still don't know how to pronounce it, so it kind of makes sense that, of course, the sculpt work will look really good because he is in charge of this line. Yeah, literally, like, the only thing that I think I can see, really, is the back of Tien's neck looks a little bit weird with the way that the head connects. However, his neck is mega thick in this scene and big, I mean, true. I was going to say, and I don't really know how else they would have connected the head, though. But obviously, from the front, it looks fine. His neck still looks huge, but that is how it looks in the scene. Tien's got a large neck. His neck muscles are crazy. But yeah, I think this figure turned out really good in terms of the sculpt. And as well, the little Hikoho piece actually looks pretty good, too. I think they did a very good job with it, obviously, with that GX material look to it, with a little bit of, like, the sparkles inside. Definitely looks pretty cool. By the way, this is just yet another example of what I wanted to show you, where lighting makes all the difference for a figure. Let me get back to, like, the first image here. So look at this, how Tien's skin tone in the greens on his gi look. Then look at this image. And now look at this one. Like, look at the night and day difference that lighting and the camera that you take a picture with for the figure makes for this type of thing. I feel like this is a great example with the different greens. Oops. The different greens that are on display here, right? And Tien's skin tone as well. That's why we can never really trust these pictures in terms of the exact color scheme, because it's like, bro, this is so drastically different comparing on where you look. But yeah, I think the figure turned out fantastic. I personally don't really have any complaints with it. I really like Tien. I've gotten a bit of a soft spot for the boy after watching OG Dragon Ball. And obviously this is a really cool scene in the Cell Saga. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to get my hands on this figure for sure. Alright, moving on from the boy Tien. Dragon Ball Kuji, no a confirmed release date except fall. And we do have the ratio confirmation, which is what I wanted to look at here in this actual image, because I think we have the date later. So as you can see, prize A, so remember how this works, right, is that per store is basically how these numbers work out, that every single store will get this many figures, right? So prize A, which we know is a dual figure, all of them, the last one prize figure A, C, and D, except for E and... oh no, maybe this is B. Wait, where's the B logo for this? I think this is supposed to be B, because Shinron is the last prize. Did they just forget the letter B? I think they just forgot the letter B. Huh. Well, yeah, either way, though, A prize going to have 2 per store. Now, keep in mind, I guess that will technically be, like, 4, because it's 2 figures in 1. So, like, it's not like it's only one of each of the figures. It's one of the set, right? So, 2 for the A prize, 2 for the B prize, 1 for the C, 1 for the D, 1 for the E. And then obviously from there, it's the smaller prizes. F has 2, G has 12, H has, I can't even read that number. It's kind of mumbo jumbo, and J has 25. So yeah, looks like some pretty decent ratios for this stuff. It'll be interesting to see what these figures actually are. And again, the art for this already looks pretty good. I think we got a little bit of a teaser for this. I think that's a Daima acrylic stand, which is kind of funny considering they've been selling those for like 35 bucks. And now it's just in an Ichiban Kuji. I think they realize people are not buying them for how stupid expensive they are. But either way, though, definitely some pretty cool looking stuff. I'm excited to see when that Ichiban Kuji actually drops, how it looks. Oh, okay, so this was literally the tweet that I was trying to find earlier that I couldn't find. Yeah, here's a little bit of a side-by-side comparison for you. It's like night and day, bro. Like, come on now. There's no way people are buying the Arise Cell over the Ichiban Kuji one. Like, no. There's no way, bro. Anyhow, moving on from that, here's a little bit of a comparison. Apparently, this is what the art is based off of, right, for then the pose that the figure has. It looks like he also comes with a little bit of the cell shell, which even the sculpting on the cell shell doesn't really look correct, because my boy looked like he got a dummy thick dumpy, and that's not correct. He also doesn't look that, like, round in shape. He's a lot more flat. Either way, though, that's enough about that stinky gamer. Here are the Janemba and Gogeta special production images. Just wanted to include these in here. They always do a really, really cool job of these. I will say, this is a little bit misleading, because obviously Gogeta doesn't actually have a Soul Punisher that comes with him. This is just for the effect, right? I know it says product image for illustration purposes only. Actual product may slightly be different, but like, man, when I see this, and if I didn't know any better, if I wasn't like a collector, I'd be like, oh my gosh, he comes with the piece, that's so cool, right? But obviously he doesn't. This is a cool update on Goku and Cooler. Apparently Cooler is now at 871 in terms of how many orders, right, they got, which is pretty cool. And Goku's at 765, which is honestly pretty surprising. That's really high for what Dragon Ball is at right now, so definitely cooking. Final production image dates again, which is interesting because we haven't had these in a while, and I'll give you some context. So these are when these actual pictures were taken, which is interesting that we know this. Gogeta and Janemba on the 8th of April, as well as the Solid Edgeverse Android 16. The History Box Goku, April 11th, and the Clear Eyes Goku Black, the 21st of May. For context, the dates help us decipher how far along the prototypes are. In an old event, they described the step-by-step process involved in the production of the prize figures. According to the production specifications, such as the character to be made where three-dimensional sizing and a unified image of the product series, a product or a model sculptor builds a prototype in recent years, in addition to I think that says conventional? Yeah. Manual design work and increasing number of prototypes are built through 3D modeling. So TLDR, it's interesting because we get to see how long ago, we, obviously like are along in the, or how long we are in the process. Yeah. And not to mention, I think it's also just interesting to see with these figures, right? Like the pictures were taken that long ago and we only see them now. So they basically just had them in the vault for that long. Hydrate or dihydrate, by the way. But that's crazy. Kind of crazy that they've been there for that long. So, speaking of which, we have ratios for these. For this Ichiban Kuji, which we'll actually get to see some final images of here. 3 for prize A, 2 for prize B, 3 for prize C, and then the last one is obviously 1, and then a bunch of the stuff for the little ones, which is kind of hard to make out. But D is 12, E is 24, and I think that's F 12 again, and G with 12 again. Yeah, very glad that Goku and Piccolo, though, has a high one, because I know that's probably going to be what people want most besides Vegeta and Goku. Moving on from that, this was kind of interesting. So the April Dragon Ball Kuji Ichiban show started release to the US. Packaging names kept in Japanese, which is interesting. But I have some bad news. They removed the LO Ichiban show listing and completely. The link is now dead. So our dream of Angel Goku that we've been talking about for video after video after video seems to unfortunately be dead, which is really, really unfortunate. So if you want that figure, you're definitely going to have to import it. But yeah, this Ichiban Kuji is now available for here in the US. So if you want to get it off of, local retailer, Amazon or whatever, definitely feel free to do so. So here was what I was looking for that happened earlier, what I mentioned. The Daima Kuji release date is November 2nd. That was Baggy's prediction from the start. I thought it would be the likeliest date, which makes sense, right? I believe it does air in October, right? That Daima, a little bit of promotional poster. Actually, here, we can go back and look at the date that Daima is going to be airing because I know it's on the poster here, right? October. Okay, yeah, it just said October. It didn't say the actual... I don't think it said, like, the official date. Oh, wow. I've never actually been on the... Wow, that's cool. Yeah, it just says October for the date there. So, with that being said, right, I feel like that maybe that means that Daima is going to come out towards the end of the month. If November 2nd is when the Kuji is going to be. But I think that that's fine, having to wait, like, you know, just towards the... Like, if it comes out, like, October 1st, there's still going to be episodes of Daima going by the time November 2nd rolls around. So I feel like that this is fine, right, in terms of the date that it's going to come out. So this was base confirmations, right? For Broly and Boo, they are going to have a foot base where it's like an actual little flat thing. And then Bardock is going to have a little bit of like a base that kind of has him stand where it's not flat on the ground. It's like that little plastic chunk basically that you get with figures sometimes. For Boo, I guess that makes sense considering he's so big and he'd probably topple over with just a foot base. Broly, I feel like it's a little bit silly because he looks like he'd be able to stand fine, but I guess, bro, it'd be like that sometimes. Oh yeah, so Lawson is also going to be hosting the Daima Ichiban Kuji. If you're unfamiliar, Lawson's basically another place in Japan like 7-Eleven, where it's a convenience store and they do hold Ichiban Kujis there. So yeah, very cool that just means that there's going to be more stores that are going to be having it. This was also a little bit of an interesting piece of news that's like kind of about something really old actually, but this figure, one of my personal favorite Goku figures of all time, is confirmed to be sculpted by the GOAT, Hiroyuki Nakazawa, one of my favorite figure sculptors in the game. He has sculpted a lot of my favorite Gokus over the years. I know that, I believe we even talked about this when this figure came out, that's who people thought sculpted it. He entered in a lot of the Banpresto World Figure Coliseums, if you're familiar. But yeah, still very cool to know. I love this Goku so much, bro. It's one of my favorite figures in my collection. Like, this is one of those figures where, like, if somebody told me, like, if you were having a house fire and you had to only grab one figure, what would it be? This right here, this would be, like, one of the top choices, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, so Daima US Ichiban show. Don't want to get people's hopes up, but I just noticed between the November Blue Lock acrylic board and the bow of the OP Ichiban show, they have left a gap of 6 SKUs, and all is enough space for the entire Daima Kuji, including the LO Shinron. So very, very interesting that that is the case. We'll have to see what that actually means later on in terms of, you know, when we actually get info for, you know, hopefully that means we're getting the Ichiban Kuji, because right now there's no confirmation that we're getting the Daima Ichiban Kuji for us here in the States as an Ichiban show. Okay, so we talked about this again in a previous video, like I talked about in the beginning of this one. But again, we are getting SHF Daima figures. Again, check out that video for more information on this. But obviously I still wanted to include it in this video. Very, very exciting, honestly. These are going to be some pretty mini figures, but I still think that these will be very fun. You'll definitely be able to get some cool stuff out of. I think Goku easily looks the best, and again, for more of my thoughts on everything, check out that video, but obviously I still wanted to include it in here. I am very excited. There is no date for these, by the way. They just announced, yeah, they're going to exist. So check out that video for more information, because there is some stuff that I do cover in that video that I'm not going to cover here. But we also do know that Daima still has Dragon Stars coming off, and we're assuming that those are probably going to be, yeah, that's going to be released in December. We're assuming that those are going to be shown off at SDCC. Again, SDC is going to have a ton of news, so definitely keep your eyes on the channel for that. Next up, the Dragon Ball item Gashapon 05. Here is the HD scan of it. I think we haven't really seen this in HD until now. So we have the Cyberman Beans, which they call Cyberman Set for some reason. The Scouter and Case, which I don't think I've ever, like, seen a Scouter Case as a figure. I think they show this, like, once, maybe twice, if memory serves. I don't even really remember it that well, to be honest with you. I think it might be when the Ginyu Force comes and Frieza gives them Scouters, if I'm remembering that correctly. Either way, the battle armor, right? And then the Shinron model, which looks like there's 2 different color versions, and one of them glows in the dark, which is interesting. And then the 3-star Dragon Ball. I mean, these are always pretty cool, right? Like, this isn't something that I feel like I need to have. I have actually seen these in person. I would like to get one of these just for funsies one time, just to kind of see the quality and everything. But it's still pretty cool. The Shinron model, it's kind of funny that we're getting a Gashapon version of it, considering we're also getting that bigger Ichiban Kuji one, too. So yeah, here are the scans for the relivable moment Ichiban Kuji. This is obviously basically just here to kind of give us, oh yeah, here's some translations too, to basically give us just a better idea of what the smaller prizes are. As you can see, we got a little bit of a keychain going on here, which is pretty cool, with Goku defeating Demon King Piccolo and Goku riding Nimbus. That is actually pretty cool for that prize F down there. And then we have more of the like washcloths, basically like the little mini towels there for prize H. I love the Chaozu one. I need that one so bad because it's literally when Krillin's like, "What's not plus 10?" Chaozu 21, yeah, and then he gets backhanded. My boy got cooked. That's crazy. My math. Such a great episode. I love that episode of Dragon Ball so much. It's so funny. But anyway, yeah, we have some more clear files with, I'm sure, some redrawn Dragon Ball art because it's usually not the original art. And then we have some clear acrylic stands for the prize E of different moments from Dragon Ball history. And then what is that other thing there? So like, are those look like rubber, right? That's the prize D. Let's see what the actual translation of these. Fontab body was the prize F, right? The H is the towel, right? The clear poster, right? Which I think probably will be like to be able to hold paper, because that's usually what that is. The acrylic stand, and then rubber case and rubber coaster. Oh, I see. So like it can hold something. That one of Goku, Krillin, and Roshi running is actually so good. I guess it's like a little holder for stuff. And then the other one is actually just like a coaster. But that's kind of interesting that it has like a base and then also like a little thing on the side. Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool for some of the smaller stuff. Oh, and here's a closer up look at it. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, so that's exactly how I was thinking that would look for the coaster. That's sick. That's actually really cool, I'm not going to lie. I feel like the Goku one where he's sleeping might be a little bit inefficient because you might pull it forward and then knock Goku over. So with this, you'd have to like lift it up and then give it to you every single time. But I don't know. I'm just talking semantics of it. Holy cow, look at all this stuff that they have for the clear acrylic stands. Let's do like this so we can just see this a little bit more bigger. Yeah, it's basically just a bunch of fights from the World Tournament, which is really cool. Like, even some of the minor ones that aren't really like the, you know, ones that people would talk about from, you know, like the bigger stuff that happens in the series, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting. Here, obviously, are these little, like, fob things. These are pretty cool. Okay, so this is for your phone. I don't really understand how this works. Maybe it goes in the back of your case or something like that. I'm not really... somebody in the comments tell me, but I kind of like this one is really cool with the Spirit Bomb, I will say. Also this one with the text. Yeah, they're all pretty neat, honestly. The designs on these are really cool. I kind of like these ones where it's like just the plain white with their faces, too. That's pretty neat. Is there anything else here? Oh yeah, so these are what the clear files are going to look like. Some definitely good choices. Interesting as well. It's so weird to me that they call it Dragon Ball Z here, even though like in the manga it's still technically all just Dragon Ball. Oh yeah, I think they got the bad promo artist. Ew! I was gonna say that Super Saiyan Goku is looking a little weird from far away. Base Goku looks fine there, but Vegeta looks a little weird. Yeah, I was saying the bad promo artist was looking like he was on these. Yikes, it's not even redrawn art of like just traced. It's like bad. But either way though, here are the little towels. Definitely some pretty cool stuff here. I like that they have the little ones of like the characters kind of like peeking out of the top. I think that is actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It would have worked, I feel like, really well for Goku punching Demon King Piccolo, but maybe they tried it and it didn't really work out that well. The Mafuba one is so good, too. Yeah, I love the Chaozu one. Like, I need that one, bro. It's so funny. Anyway, moving on from that, we do have some final images of the Matchmakers Goku and Cooler, which actually did turn out pretty good. I think we took a look at some of them last time, but there is something that I actually wanted to show you with this, that they did a really good job with the size comparison between these two. I guess we'll see in a moment. Here is Cooler. This is definitely a good option if you don't have a Cooler figure in your collection. I actually have a bunch somehow. I'm not even like that crazy of a Cooler fan, but I already have like a ton in my collection, so I don't think I'm going to be picking these up at the moment. But where is it? Yeah, here's some more of the like detailed sculpt work. They definitely did a very good job sculpting in some of like the little bit of like the etchings on Cooler's skin. I think they did a really good job with that. Here's Goku as well. I feel like Goku definitely doesn't look as good as Cooler. Like, I feel like the sculpt on his body is a little bit too simple, but like it doesn't look like bad, right? I don't think it's terrible. It's just not like the craziest sculpted Goku figure that I've ever seen, you know what I mean? But I will tell you, where is that image? Okay, hold on. Surely it has to be here somewhere. I want to find it to show it to you because it was like, well, I guess we'll just find it later. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So yeah, this is what I wanted to show you because this size comparison between these is really good. Like, obviously, this is having them pretty close up, right? Cooler is obviously a lot bigger than Goku. And I feel like this works really, really well. Yeah, the theory was correct that Baggy had that the maximum price allowance meant that the scale was going to be good for Cooler. And it looks really, really good. Goku is definitely a lot smaller in Cooler than Cooler, rather, excuse me, in like stature and in body type and physique. And obviously, right, it just kind of makes sense, I guess. Overall, looks good. I'm glad that they scaled them this way and didn't make them the same size because it wouldn't have really made that much sense. I feel like with these Matchmakers figures, they don't really have to scale to anything else but each other because the figures are supposed to go with each other, right? So I'm glad that, you know, they ended up looking pretty good. Either way, we do have some images of, oh my gosh, a bunch of the figures, a ton of Ichiban Kuji stuff right here. The relivable moment, dude, they cooked. First of all, Goku and Piccolo, it looks so good. It looks so good. I can't wait to get my hands on that thing, man. It looks amazing. Goku and Frieza also looks really good. Even Goku and Bulma look really good. And Goku and Vegeta, we'll have a little bit of close-ups in a second. Woo! I'm kind of sad that that ain't coming over here. I'm not going to lie, because it looks really good. We also have this Ichiban Kuji. I forget the name of it. The Snap Collection, that's right. Dude, that Gohan figure looks humongous. I really don't know the size of these. But these look really big. Like, am I crazy to say that? I swear these look pretty big. But all of these look really good. The sculpt detail on all of them, right, looks immaculate, if I do say so myself. I don't think there's a bad figure out of the bunch here. These look really, really good. I think they definitely cooked. I'm so excited we have a good launch figure, bro. Oh my gosh. They also showed off some of the prize figures, too. As you can see there, Trunks does look pretty good. And you can see Goku and the Super 17, right, which we obviously took a look at in a previous video. I will say, I feel like Goku's scaled a little bit too big. Maybe it's just his giant cranium, but I feel like he almost looks a little bit too, like, I know he's like shorter than 17, but I feel like he's not that big. Maybe it was just he was so small they scaled him up a little bit, but I feel like 17 almost looks too small. Am I crazy to say that? Either way, though, yeah, here's all the androids. You can see Broly and Gogeta in the background there, and Boo. Man, they definitely did a good job with all these. And they actually set the androids up like how they are in that original piece of art from the Kai Zenban, I believe is how that's pronounced. Which is cool, right? That's like a setup that you want to have. That looks awesome. I think they definitely did a really good job with that. I might have to get those three just to kind of be able to do that setup because it looks really good. Yeah, so very cool. That this figure ended up with no base. But let's talk a little bit more about it. And real quick, Dragon history, Goku and Vegeta not getting an Ichiban show might not be the worst thing. Yen has depreciated so much, importing is so beneficial. For example, 5,000 used to be 35 bucks back in 2018, and now it's worth 25 euros, which is crazy. So definitely, if you are into importing figures and stuff like that, this might not be such a bad idea to try and get this thing imported for sure. We have some close-ups of some of the stuff here. Here is the Frieza and Goku. Man, they really cooked with this Ichiban Kuji. It's so good. It's so good, man. And, oh! Oh my gosh, dude. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. They did such a good job with the sculpt work on this. Dude, the hair is so good with like the flowy hair of them, like, you know, with Goku punching Vegeta there. The way that the hair flows, so good. Oh man, they did such a good job with the sculpt. And by the way, I am very glad to see, right, I know people were kind of wondering how this was going to end up looking in terms of the like stand. Having a clear stand like this, perfect. They nailed it. I think they did a fantastic job with how that looks, right? You know, kind of just being on the stand, because obviously it didn't make any sense with them basically floating in the air. So yeah, they cooked for sure. Here are some close-ups of, dude, oh my gosh, Piccolo and Goku. It looks so good, dude. It's such a funny face that Goku's making, but that is what he is making in that part. Dude, it's such a good figure. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get my hands on this thing, man. I'm actually so excited. Oh man, and Bulma and Goku also look really good. I like the way the water is sculpted. It looks really nice. Bulma's expression is also really good. Because I remember, like, I didn't really, like, take too look of a close look at it before. I thought she was smiling, but she's kind of more, like, concerned. But that fits for what this scene is. Because she's like, bro, why are you drinking salt water? But yeah, definitely. Very, very good job on the sculpt on all of those. We also have some close-ups of the Dragon Ball Snap collection. Obviously, keep in mind, the glass is there a little bit because, you know, that's why there's the reflections. Goku looks sculpted amazing. I have like no complaints with how this looks. So good. Gohan himself also looks really nice. I think it even looks almost better than the original production images, if I'm being honest with you. Oh, she's so perfect. I'm so happy we're getting a launch figure, man. Oh my gosh. I really hope they bring her back. I know they won't, but I hope they do. Oh man, it looks so nice, dude. They did such a good job with her for sure. Here is that Kid Goku as well. Even he, which is probably like the figure I was the least excited for out of this whole bunch, still looks really good. They did a great job. The monkey's fur as well, like the actual monkey. I'm not talking about Goku. It looks really good. Dude, Gohan too. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we're going to have to import this thing. It's such a cool figure too. I'm definitely going to need that. That could be like a centerpiece of a collection right there with the Gohan. But yeah, these turned out amazing. I'm so glad that these figures turned out as good as they did. We're spoiled right now with Ichiban Kuji, man. It's so nice because Kuji figures had such like a fall off over the last couple years. And then within like the recent year or so, I feel like they've really bounced back. Oh, what a time to be alive. What happened to this tweet? Why did this not load? There we go. Okay, this was just the other images that we saw before. And then we have some also close-ups of the prize figures as well. So you can see here is a little bit of a close-up of the, unfortunately, like the picture here is a little bit blurry. But in terms of the scale, what I was talking about, am I crazy? Is Goku's cranium not massive? And his body is like slightly a little bit too big for 17? Like, am I tripping on that? Am I wrong? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I swear he's a little bit too big, though. I swear he might be a little bit too big. Super 17 looks fantastic, though, if I do say so myself. I think they did a good job. I'd be curious to see more angles of it, though. 18, right? Obviously, we have here. I don't think there's just really anything too crazy. Her eyes look maybe a little bit too long, which, I mean, I know that's how the androids look in this part, but, you know, it still looks pretty good. And yeah, 16, immaculate. No complaints from me on that front. It's super nice to see all these figures together, man. Like, they did such a good job with making this, like, feel like a complete set. It's awesome. Boo as well. They cooked with my boy. I'm so happy about this figure because I only have, like, literally one Majin Buu figure in my entire collection. So I'm really excited for this. And, of course, they picked a funny face for Buu where he's doing the hee-hee. Oh, man. It looks great. I love it. He's so cheeky. Oh, man, bro. That's good. That's good. That's good. But yeah, definitely very good job on Majin Buu. I'm happy with the way that the boy turned out. Yeah, that's just that picture again there. We also had just some more pictures. This is with a little bit of like a weird filter kind of thing. And I think they used like a fisheye lens for this. So I figured I'd still throw them in here either way just because, you know, just some more angles of the figures are good. Man, they did such a good job with Goku and Vegeta, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, this is a little video of them, so we can actually see a little bit of a clearer view of Super 17 here. Trunks looks good. Love that they went with the early appearance here. And oh man, that Goku and Vegeta is phenomenal. Yeah, definitely. Look at the sculpt work on that, bro. All right, let me pull this up in another tab real quick. I just want to make sure that the audio is muted and everything is all good to go. We're not going to go through this entire video because this video is like 18 minutes long from this Japanese creator. We'll just kind of like click through it a little bit. If you would like to watch this whole thing though, I will leave the link in the description, obviously, so you can check it out for yourself. Because I also don't want to get copyright claimed, and you know, I'm also not trying to take this band's entire video. But again, yeah, I mean, they did such a good job with sculpting these. A quick look at 16, right? We have a little bit of a close-up of Goku there. That's kind of what I'll focus on for this. Goku's face looks really good. We'll take a look at the prize figures because I feel like that's kind of like what's most important to take a look at here. Here is 17. Can we get a little bit of a close-up of 17 there? Yeah. It's kind of hard with the angle, and I don't think they can look from like the sides of the case either, unfortunately. But yeah, still very good looking, right? Again, I will leave a link to this in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. Since it is like a whole 18-minute video about this exhibit. We'll just look at Goku and Vegeta real quick. It looks like they paused to talk about the figure there. Dude, the sculpt work on Goku is just so good. This is such an awesome figure, man. I like this a lot. They did a fantastic job with the face. Yeah, I will leave a link to this in the description below if you want to watch the full 18-minute video. But obviously, it's just kind of a lot to watch in a video that's already going to be like, you know, hours long. But yeah, they did a good job for sure. I'll at least show you Goku, and I'll show you Piccolo's face there. Yeah, they cooked for sure. They cooked on the boy. Absolutely. Okay, so unfortunately, sad news. High grade, right? The final quality, these are now complete waste of time. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. As you can see, the quality on these figures dropped quite a bit, which is really unfortunate to see because I was actually quite looking forward to these. The ones on the right were the ones that were shown off originally. I forget what event it was, but at some event. As you can see, the ones on the left do not look as good. The face looks a little bit off. There's some like weirdness going on with the hair too. Just does not look as clean, especially this Goku's face doesn't look as good, which is really unfortunate because like, dude, look at how promising this was. This is why it's always so hard to trust Bandai, man, because they do stuff like this. They show off the figure like literally it's there. There it is. That prototype of this figure must exist out there somewhere. And then this is the final stinky quality we get. It's very unfortunate to see. If they couldn't manufacture the original quality at 500 yen, then why did they set the price at so? Yeah. Then they should have just increased the price if they were going to manufacture it at this quality, right? Rather than the quality on the left. Anyhow, moving on, we have some more pictures. Just wanted to throw these in here real quick. Obviously, this is from V-Jump themselves, which is cool. But Broly figure news, technically, at the Sparking Zero booth. I'm not sure if this was at Evo or if this was just at some like demo thing in Japan, but they have this giant Broly figure. I don't know if we've seen this one before because it doesn't look familiar to me. But it's kind of, look at Deku. Hey, Dokkan battle booth. Shout out to Dokkan. As you can see here, it's kind of funny because I'm pretty sure there was a Gogeta that went with a Broly figure at some event before. But this is just kind of here by himself. Though I guess it makes sense because obviously Broly's like on the box art. So very cool with the blast though, I will say, with this giant statue. It looks awesome if I do say so myself. Giant statues like this are always cool to see. Aha! So we're on to now the final little bits here that we have for figure news. Oh boy, we have the production images for December TURLES from the GX Materia line. Yeah, by the way, once again, like we always say, they always drop these expensive Ichiban Kuji figures, and then later down the line, Bam Presto prize figures get some kind of version of this. It happened, we had this TURLES, right? It was, I think, now maybe a couple years ago, but here we have, you know, a less expensive prize figure version. Obviously, it's a very different pose. I actually think that this pose is cooler, if I'm being honest with you, because, dude, like, He's literally doing, isn't this move called the Kill Driver? I'm pretty sure. I haven't used Garlic Jr. I haven't used Turles in any Dragon Ball game in recent time. But yeah, dude, like, this is so cool. Definitely very, very awesome looking. I can't wait to see some multi-angles on this. This is definitely going to be on a stand for sure. Where he's like kind of up in the air, so that will be awesome to see. I do kind of wish the Kill Driver had a little bit more of like a ball in the middle, but it definitely still looks really good. It's like he's forming it, and it's not like completely formed yet. We also have the Solid Edgeworks Frieza. Now we're going to talk about this guy in a second, though this is a good Frieza figure, obviously doing the iconic Frieza pose. And then we have BROLY. Now I know people were excited for this BOS BROLY. This is what we got. I gotta say, I'm not really a fan. I'm not really a fan of this sculpt. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think that the sculpt is like not terrible. I guess it's more like the pose, right? He feels very basic. I feel like they could have done something way cooler for BROLY. Because there's already plenty of BROLY figures where he's basically just standing there, right? I also feel like this is crazy to say because it's BROLY, but I feel like his waist is too thin. Like, I feel like the cloth is not like spread out enough that he wears around his waist. Let me know what you think. I feel like the hair also is a little bit weird. Like in the middle top, like close to right above his forehead, it's like super condensed in. But then the hair spikes on the side, like, are a lot more thinner, or actually not thinner, more like thicker but bigger chunks, but they're kind of more spread out. It just feels really weird. Let me know what you think. I definitely think Turles, for my money, is the best looking one out of these. He looks fantastic. I'm really excited actually for this because I don't think I have a Turles figure in my collection. So here's the thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so Solid Edgeworks isn't going through Frieza's forms, which is unfortunate because the only way that you could get all those in recent time was either Ichiban Kuji, they've released them, and they're a little expensive, and the SH figure ones are pretty expensive too. The previous ones seem to be pretty pointless now, but it looks like they finally realized Solid Edgeworks doesn't always have to walk. Yeah, because this was the original gimmick that they had, but you know, now they have it like this. And funny enough, this brings around to my point. I think this figure, for that thing that we saw in the very beginning, will work way better for this setup than the walking, right? If you have Cell there, Boo there, and then you have Frieza with his arms out to the side. Fire setup. And this, you know, is basically going to be the size of this figure since they're from the same line. So, might have to cop that Frieza. But yeah, like, this guy feels really pointless. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this kind of feels like that one time many, many years ago where they had Gogeta basically doing like the times 10 Big Bang Kamehameha, the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. They released a Kuji one, and then they released a prize figure one within like the same month. Which is like, what is the point? I don't know. It's a little silly. I'm not gonna hold you. But either way though, very interesting choice. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Final thing we have from Baggy, the SHF medical machine will be made in Vietnam. So, that is basically everything that I have for you in terms of official Dragon Ball news. Obviously, as you guys know, I have been covering third-party stuff at the end of these videos now. So let's go ahead and get into that third-party stuff, excuse me, since we already basically you know, have seen everything that would be on this page. Oh, I guess I can throw this in here. This is coming out in March of next year, just so that you are aware. Alright, so third-party stuff. We actually got quite a few updates from 5K. The Zycor did actually release. I do have this guy in hand. I've not opened him yet, though, because I'm going to do a stream coming up here soon, because I have a couple figures that I would like to open up. Very, very excited for this guy, though. He looks really good. So you should probably have him already. And I do know that they did do a little bit of a stock. Yeah, there is a stock sale. So if you don't have this guy and you want to pick him up on 5K, definitely go grab him. Very interesting stuff otherwise, though. Starting from... So this started shipping, right? I don't think that we took a look at this yet. This was the DF Gohan and Goku that we took a look at in a previous video. We have the US stock once again available for this Gotenks kit with the Super Saiyan 3 hair. I'm not the biggest fan of these faces, to be honest. I've seen these in videos and stuff. Not really a fan. I think the hair sculpt is great. Not a big fan of the faces, except for like the afraid one, where like he's like, "Ee!" you know. I don't like this one, yeah. I don't really think that the faces look too great though. Like eyes are a little bit too far apart for me, to be honest with you. Like some angles like that looks alright, but I feel like overall the faces are not super great. The hair sculpt though is really good. These also are shipping if you ordered these little bit of the like the arms crossed for Goku and Vegeta, the Super Saiyan 4s. I completely missed this. I was really hoping to get these because I have Bardock and I don't have any like Super Saiyan Bardock for SHF. I didn't even see these go up, but apparently the stock for these, when they have a little bit of a restock, DF found these somewhere with some custom head sculpts for the Bardock that they released a long time ago. They found some stock somewhere in the back. So this is really interesting. They talked about this a long time ago, where they were apparently going to make a Great Ape posable figure from 5K, where they showed off, actually, funny enough, the like Ichiban Kuji Golden Great Ape that I actually have on my shelf. And apparently they're going to be making this as a posable figure, which I know they did that for Great Ape Vegeta, like the official SHF one, but seeing a third-party company tackle this is... wow, like, that's crazy. Now, I'm assuming that on the actual figure, it's not going to have the bandages and the clothes, because again, they do this type of thing to basically, like, detour the official stuff from, you know, like, basically catching on to what they're doing, even though it's pretty obvious. So I don't actually think he'll have, like, the staff and like the cloak and the bandages and stuff. I'm pretty sure it'll just be the Great Ape. But it will be really interesting to see what they actually do with this. Because you can see like some of these designs are clearly just the Ozaru. And some of them are a little bit more like Monkey King, you know, Sung Wukong-esque. Which is very interesting. So, I'm going to be interested to see how this turns out. It'll be curious to see too if they do gold or if they do brown, right? I'm hoping that they do all of them. It'll be really interesting to see if they do Great Ape Vegeta too. I don't know, man. I'm curious. We'll have to see when this eventually gets announced, though. Moving on from that, releasing soon, you guys probably remember that 5K was finally releasing like a standard Goku. It's kind of interesting because the first like Goku figure that they released was the Super Saiyan 3 one, and that's like the standard body that you can get for like 5K's 3.0 Goku. But then they released these, which use the mold of the Super Saiyan 2 Goku, but also modify it to be 3.0, like, you know, modifying the SHF Super Saiyan 2 Goku. But then they put like normal heads on these, right? Where I think there's like a Super Saiyan 1, there's a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken one. So interesting though, these figures are going to be apparently coming around 1 to 2 months for the US. But that probably means that we'll be getting some images of these guys in hand sooner than later. It's good though. It's kind of funny because it's like, well, dog, this is not really like about to release like a month or two. But it's always good to have updates on this type of thing because we actually haven't heard an update on this project in a fat minute. So I'm glad that they updated us about it. Speaking of which, here are some final production photos. Obviously, some of the face prints aren't on there for these. But here is Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. Very interesting as well. This is the clear one, right? Obviously, they have this version, which I don't think I got myself, but this is basically like the special color version that they always do for 5K. It's kind of cool. It's not really my cup of tea. I'd rather have this like on the hair rather than the full body, but it's still kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. I think it looks really good for the hair though, like this. Look at the like tipped like reds for the Kaioken. I think that looks awesome. And then obviously like the clear blues here. That looks pretty cool. The base form head being a little clear is very interesting for this. So going to be curious to see how all of this actually shakes out. But this does give us a good idea for the actual like sculpt of the full Goku body. Again, you can see, like I said, for the top half, they use that Super Saiyan 2 mold of like the ripped gi, but obviously he has the arms and the legs of 3.0. Very interesting. Is this something Dragon Ball related? No, this is not. Okay. Oh yeah, so this actually went up for pre-order, which is funny that I was kind of wondering when this was actually going to end up dropping. The HM and Air Studio heads for Gohan with the Super Saiyan 2 are finally here. We had Super Saiyan 1 in base form already up on the 5K website, and they did not list the Super Saiyan 2 one for some reason. But funny enough, I talked to Burst. I talked to the boy in DMs, and what you call it? He was mentioning that these would probably go up at a later date, and that is indeed the case. What happened with 5K? So if you are interested in getting these, definitely head over to the 5K website and pick them up. They're not that expensive, actually. If I remember correctly, let's go to 5K's website real quick. Go to all products. Oh, it looks like the Zycor restock actually sold out. Yeah, okay, so here. So these are the kits. They're not too terrible. They're still a little expensive, right? As you can see here, $39 plus shipping, right? So it'll be the $5 deposit and then 34 for the first one, right? We obviously have the 44 and then the 39 and then the 33 respectively. So the different kits is this one where it is obviously just the Super Saiyan 2 hair with a bunch of different faces, and apparently it fits 2.0 bodies and 3.0 bodies, which is pretty cool. Makes sense, obviously, because then you can use it on the already existing Kid Gohan, right? For both, they have the clear hair version, which, by the way, if you're curious, obviously besides the hair, there is a slight difference in this. The fruit punch is changed on these. And so the face in the top right, look at that one first. On the clear head, the eyes are cocked to the side. And then on this one, they're looking forward. The fruit punch is on the crying face that is on the face, right? And the screaming head has no fruit punch. And then there is fruit punch on the screaming head, but his eyes are closed, right? For that one. So there's a little bit of differences. Technically, if you want the full face experience, I guess you have to get both. But I feel like they're not, like, different enough to me warrant getting both of them. It would be cool to get this one because obviously that's when Gohan first transforms. He's like, ah, you know. But I'm satisfied with what comes in this one, personally. And then also, they have the windswept hairpiece, which I also would like to get this one because obviously it's just really cool. And then they also have a Gohan Beast version, which I'm sure not a lot of people will probably get, but if you want this, it is pretty cool. I know Mr. Gohan Beast himself saying that he's not going to get this me is kind of blasphemous, but I'm definitely not going to be picking this one up because I would just rather have the other two. But still pretty cool. You know, again, let me know what you think of the price on these because obviously the prices for this are always kind of all over the place, and since it's third party, it's a lot harder to quantify this. I have definitely seen this price like for a head kit before. It doesn't really feel like it's that much of a surprise. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good price, but it's the price you gotta pay. Let me know what you think, though, in the comment section below. And we also had... Where's that Goku? Yeah. So, shout out to the boy, Golden Ozaru, by the way. My actual GOAT. I love this guy's YouTube content. Apparently, he's actually working with 5K now for uploading some of his like videos, basically 5K. And him are working together. They uploaded or updated pre-orders, and funny enough, this picture, as you can see here, is actually from my boy's video, which is awesome. I love Golden Ozaru, bro. I'm not like his friend or anything like that. I just like his YouTube content. It's really good. But yeah, so very, very cool. You can see that there are two kits you can actually get right now from Air Studios of a darker orange Goku gi and a lighter orange Goku gi, where the gi is ripped. And as you can see, the darker orange matches the Black Hole Toys Goku and the old MUI SHF Goku, which is actually getting a re-release later this year. And the new one matches the Toyotaro version, which is really, really cool. And as you can see, it obviously comes with a couple hands. You can put the stickers on there if you want. Definitely looks really good, if I do say so myself. I think I am actually going to pick this one up. The way to install it is also not that hard either. You literally just pull Goku in half and then basically just kind of throw it over him. It's pretty easy. It's a nice little kit. And it's not too expensive. As you can see here, looking at this, the total looks like it's going to be about 25 plus shipping for each of them. So I am pretty excited about this kit. I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely going to get the one for the Toyotaro version because I think that just fits best. And then keep the original one as kind of like the shirtless Goku. But yeah, really cool. Definitely a very nice little kit, especially for that price. I don't think 25 bucks is too bad. It is still a little expensive for what you get included, right? Stickers, this plastic bit, and then the hands. But again, right? I'm just kind of showing you what it is, how it is. In terms of 5K, the only other things that we had are, I'm sure you can see it, this, which were some final test shots of the Vegeta, the Dragon Ball Heroes version that 5K, that Kong is cooking up, right? And the coat. I did not get the coat when these are up for pre-order, and I severely regret it, because I was thinking that the coat would not turn out that good, because I've never seen, like, a company do a fabric piece before, I guess, and I felt like it was going to be a little difficult for them. But man, they cooked on it, and the figure looks fantastic. Like, this is exactly how I envisioned this figure when it came to life. So, yeah, they did a really good job. The coat looks immaculate. I'm really hoping that the coat gets, like, a restock, because I will absolutely buy it if it does. He looks so good. And then, of course, the standard Vegeta, which was also another thing that Kong was working on, also looks really good. No real complaints on the body. His hips do look a little wide, I will admit, and his arms look a little bit thin. But the hair sculpts do look pretty good. It is interesting to see that they basically did just change the color of the blue and the red. They're also a little bit clear, like a little bit pearlescent too, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so far looking good, right? Definitely looking a little good. So this was also something interesting I've seen floating around. Some are asking OC Toys new figure now, waiting a month to finalize the other 2 color variants. Should be a month to present the other 3 color variants. So this is something I think we talked about this in a previous video. That OC Toys is working on this Xeno Vegito figure. And apparently 5K is actually going to have this on their website at some point. This is a 3.0 Xeno Vegito figure. Technically, the only version of this guy up until this point in terms of 3.0 stuff is the Kong, like, special color version of their Super Saiyan 3 figure, and you just pluck the Super Saiyan 3 head off of it. But this looks really cool. I really like the effects that come with this. As you can see, right, he has the Ki Beam effect, he has the, like, sweeping Ki Blast effect, he has a little bit of a, looks like Final Kamehameha effect. He pulling up the glove looks awesome, the different hands are really cool, and as you can see, he also has the meme of him holding the phone there, too, which is really funny that that's getting included, because I know that that was in some other kits that some other companies have announced, so that's pretty cool to see. I think maybe even OC Toys announced a kit, unless that was the precursor to this, and they're now making a full figure. He even has the funny Vegito face where he's like, are you seriously crying? So yeah, this is looking really good so far. I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this project. I'm glad that 5K is getting it. It's nice to see that 5K seems to be working with a lot more of these third-party companies rather than just Kong. I love Kong, don't get me wrong, but it's awesome to be able to get some of this other stuff that normally we would have to go to AliExpress to get when 5K is a trusted retailer for this. So very cool. In terms of 5K themselves, I think that's all it is. We do have the boy Burst, though. Let's go back there. We do have the boy Burst, which I believe we left off. Let's see. I know we saw this image, and obviously we saw these images before with just some more images of the coat. This right here just came across one image of the Tonson. Oh, I actually wanted to look at that, so we'll look at that in a second. Kid Buu. I'm sure there's somewhere. I'm sure there's some more out there somewhere. But yeah, definitely looking pretty good, as you can see. The sexy Buu also looks great as well. Oh yeah, this was a video that Burst did. Yeah, this I think is the gi. Yeah, this is exactly what this is. This is the orange gi on the original SHF Goku, rather than the Toyotaro one. I think it still looks good, but I think just the colors on the Toyotaro one look a lot better, in my opinion. Here we have some of those, I think this was the Tigery, yeah. The Tigery base form heads for Gohan. Again, I still feel like the eyes look a little bit weird. Here, right, we have the recustom Goku, which I still think this looks pretty good. Gohan Beast, we saw this, which is the HMYR normal Gohan Beast variant. I think that the hair looks good, but I feel like there's almost like too many creases or too many lines or something. And the face looks slightly off to me. Like, it's not bad, but it still feels a little bit weird. The GT Super Saiyan Goku head, I believe this was from Air. I don't think that the faceplates look too bad, actually. They'll look a little bit better with the bangs on there, and they also include Super Saiyan 2 bangs, so that is pretty cool as well. Another in-person production images. Oh yeah, this is actually like some actual images of the Tonson Art Toys Trunks, which looks amazing. Again, we talked about in a previous video that this guy is available for pre-order on Omnime, so if you would like to get him on there, you definitely can. This is the Tigery Windswept Super Saiyan 2 Gohan hair, which is on Zanyu. It does look pretty cool. I will say I'm not a big fan of the faces, but I like the hair sculpt quite a bit. Okay, so here we have some actually more clear images of the OC Toys Vegito. As you can see, I have a little bit of a better look at some of the stuff that's in there. I like the windswept hair piece, so I do hope that they include like a standard one too. Apparently, the Zanyu listing mentions they're expected to ship Q1 of 2025. Not too bad considering their capsule port variant is expected for December. Looks like these are going to be closing for pre-order fairly soon, though I'm not sure what the next opportunity to purchase this figure, and obviously we know 5K will be getting it eventually, right? What is this? Is this just, okay, new images of the OC Toys. Oh, Vegito accessories. Okay. Some of these are definitely a bit old, as you can see OC's page with the images of some of the older ones. Okay. So yeah, again, still looks pretty good. Obviously, this is like not final by any stretch of the imagination, but still looks pretty good for what we're looking at so far. Like, I don't really think I have any complaints with the way that this looks for sure. Oh, the Xeno body, bro. The Xeno color scheme looks super good. Yeah, I like the, yeah, there's a bit of a different variation, yeah, there with the Xeno Gi, rather than just like the, you know, black and orange, right? It has a little bit of an actual different look on the bottom of it, you know, compared to regular Vegito. Looks like they're even doing a battle damage version. Interesting. Yeah, lots of crazy looking stuff here. It's going to be interesting to see what of this we actually get to see stateside, and what actually comes of this, because of course a lot of this is like in progress production images and stuff like that. What is this one? In addition to the photos of Steve Chen, here's a look at the Super Saiyan Blue sculpt on the Kong body for HMYR's faces. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, these look really good. These look fantastic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those look really good. Very, very nice. The Super Saiyan Blue hat does look really good on that body too. I feel like the eyes look a little wide here, but the rest of the faces I feel like look really good. For sure. Very interesting brown that they chose for that too. Last couple of things here. Okay. So, this is something, is this Gohan, right? I swear I feel crazy saying the sculpt is off. The early prototypes from the beginning of this year, you have just a certain, I don't know how to pronounce that, worm, formerly bugs. Gotcha. So yeah, this is that Gohan that's supposed to be from the World Tournament with the glasses. I definitely agree. Something about the sculpt, like, looks off. Like, it's not awful, but I feel like something about the face looks a little bit weird. Like, the hair looks okay, maybe even the proportions of her are a little bit weird, but the glasses looks a little bit, like, big. I don't know, I don't really think this looks like Gohan either. I'm gonna be honest, the face almost looks more like Vegito, if I'm being honest with you. Oh, okay, so interesting. So this is the Black Hole Toys Super Saiyan 4 Goku. This is the, obviously, Limit Breaker one. And this is the regular one. I won't be honest, these kind of definitely don't look that good. I was gonna maybe get this one because I have the original Kong Super Saiyan 4 Xeno Goku. And I don't think it's that great. But this is definitely a not great looking figure, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like Black Hole's offerings from previous figures were definitely a lot better looking. But that is basically everything that we have for today. So let me know what you guys are excited for in the comment section below. I would definitely be keen to hear what your favorite figure was from today. I am very excited for all the stuff coming down the pipeline. Again, keep in mind that big SDCC recap video will be coming after this weekend, so look forward to that. And with all that being said, silly me, I completely forgot I opened Tonson's page. Yeah, so obviously we took a look at Trunks before, but we have some actual, like, basically finalized production images, I guess is what you would say. Man, these look amazing. Tonson really knocked it out of the park with this Trunks, man. Holy cow. This figure, like, am I crazy to say that this looks better than some of the official stuff? Here's the other color variant, by the way. I really like the Super Saiyan hair color on this one. And I like... That's funny. But I like the base form hair color on the other one better, I think. And obviously it's supposed to be based off of like the particular arts, right? This one is a little bit more that lighter yellow. It's funny that I say that because I typically enjoy this color for Super Saiyan, but I feel like for Trunks that more of like the golden hair works a lot better for Trunks for this look than like this kind of lighter yellow. But I think that this base form hair color is perfect. Dude, these are so good. Here is what it comes with, right? I don't think that I will say it is kind of ironic. It might be a little bit misleading. The faces are so good. Does it have the... Okay, no, never mind. I was going to say, I swear these images had the, like, bonus pieces that you could only get on the, like, Zanyu and AliExpress listings, but they don't. This is, like, everything that's on Omni-Man. Yeah, my gosh, dude, look at everything that this thing comes with. So many faces. Oh my gosh, dude, this thing is crazy. Here's some more like stylized versions of this. Definitely crazy. I do hope that we get some more pictures for Kid Buu as well, because it's kind of funny that it feels like he's been focusing on Trunks more than he has Kid Buu. But like, look at all this stuff you can do with the sword. You can have him hold the hilt. Like, all these different poses that they got. I don't know if Tonson is the one posing the figure, but this is really good. He also does a great job. I also know, like, dude, this one is so good. Like, I even noticed, like, he takes out the stand for these production images. Like, this is professional quality work. This is easily the most high quality third-party figure stuff in the game, man. Like, my boy's cooking. My boy's really cooking. That's what I wanted to show you. Everything else we looked at in a previous video. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Dokkan us out. Peace.